Mike Aldretti's 3-run home run makes it a 5-0 ball game through 3 innings here at the Coliseum. Sunday, September the 5th at 1:05, the A's and the Orioles play this season's series finale at the Coliseum, and all kids at the game will get a great-looking black and gold fanny pack compliments of Nabisco Foods and Target. For tickets, visit the A's box office or call 510-762-BASS.
Greg Papa, Ray Fosse, and the third member of our broadcast crew just signed him today. And after an inning of work, audition, we have given him a long-term contract. Terry Steinbach, well, just to the end of this year, because we'd rather, you're a good broadcaster, but I think you're a better catcher. At this stage.
At this stage. I'd like to be back out there as well.
You know, I spent enough time on the disabled list, I kind of have the feeling, but even though this is just the second day, give us an idea of your feeling of knowing that you're not going to be playing and seeing the things happening on the field. How tough is it to be here watching this?
It's the hardest thing, you know, because you wake up every morning when you're playing knowing that you're going to be in the lineup, and now all of a sudden it's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to come to the park and watch a game.
And you were having what many people consider your finest year. Did you consider it your finest year up until the injury?
I was pretty happy with it. The thing I was disappointed with was I thought my RBI production could have been better. Hitting with guys in scoring position I thought was considerably down from what I would like it to be.
Steiny, with this game now, it's 5-0 in 3 innings. And granted, umpires are umpires and they have a zone. But how does an umpire change maybe the corners, the height, the low, as far as now for Carsey, even though he's a rookie, but there's a 5-run difference in this ball game?
Well, I think, you know, one, the score does have something to dictate with it. I don't necessarily know if 5 runs is enough for the umpires to really start opening up the zone or not. But the big thing that I noticed is Carsey's been around the plate the whole first 3 innings, and that I think is more important as to why he should start opening up the zone as to you know, having the score being a 5-run lead in our favor.
So the test of the kid to make sure that he's not going to complain on certain pitches now that he's around the plate could give him the cause of a 10-year veteran maybe.
Well, I wouldn't quite say a 10-year vet, but at least call the strike.
Well, there's his curveball that he misses. Carsey's a rookie, but so is the umpire behind home plate, Brian O'Nora. And you were behind the plate in game 1 when he worked here on Saturday. He looked pretty good. He seemed comfortable behind the plate, the umpire. Here's Carsey up close.
Well, again, those eyes right on the target. He just left that curveball up. Knew he did not follow through with it.
Now, see, when he's not pitching from the stretch, his delivery completely different. And one thing Ray and I pointed out, Terry, that he does is just his pitching hand he holds behind his leg. Is that done, do you think, by design to conceal what he's doing from the batter?
I think a lot of it is really just habit, what a pitcher gets into. If you go back and check, he's probably done it for a while through his high school career, and he just hasn't changed, and nobody's thought of a reason to change it.
I think one thing is pretty obvious. He puts the ball in his glove, and when he brings his hand up into the glove, he already knows what pitch is going to be called or what pitch he wants to throw before he comes into the glove. So he's got an idea.
And what's interesting is a lot of pitchers, you see him fooling around with the ball, the grip in the glove. He doesn't have a long time to get the grip. He has to go in, get it, and pull it out and throw it.
I think it's a very important point because there's many pitchers in the major leagues right now who, as I'm sure Ray can attest to, will tip off pitches by what they do with their glove. Carsey going straight to his glove and coming out with the ball is going to eliminate that problem.
Speaking of that, how much do you guys sitting on the bench, whether you're playing or just watching a pitcher, do you, as a hitter, you'll do it, but how about other players on the bench just trying to figure those things out?
It happens quite a bit, particularly myself. If I can be 100% sure of something, you know, if I know it's 100% right, I'll definitely use it. You know, the guy wiggling his glove or setting his hands different or whatever it might be. But if it's any kind of, you know, like a 50-50%, I'll just as soon go up there and do it on my own. I feel very frustrated if I think curveball and the guy throws a fastball right down the middle and I didn't get a swing at it.
That's what Juan Bell has done the previous 53 games this year, both with the Phillies and the Brewers. Hamilton pops it, shallow left field. Mike Bordick retires Darrell Hamilton, a very dangerous hitter for Carsey to get.
Well, he helped him out by swinging at a pitch out of the strike zone. And one thing in walking Bell to lead off this inning, the fastball was up and out of the strike zone, and the same pitch to Hamilton, yet he swung at it, and it was going to be a very difficult pitch for Hamilton to hit it with any distance.
Well, we're joined by the lone Oakland A's All-Star of '93, Terry Steinbach, and here's the lone Milwaukee Brewer All-Star of '93. But His numbers against the A's this year, Terry, you guys held him down.
It's
a
a change.
So far. Huh?
It's a change, don't it?
What'd you do this year to pitch this guy? He's 4 for 22 against the A's this season.
Well, really what we did is looked at last year's stats and just did the opposite.
Coming into this year, he had hit 15 career home runs against the A's, and that is more than any other two teams combined that he has hit, so he has done well.
You know, last night he was showing his setup of the plate very pigeon-toed, almost like Martin McGuire. Now, when you, as a catcher, see this, different from last year, what adjustments do you make?
Well, really, you know, you just try to go by not so much what his stance is, but what type of swings he's taken. His approach to hitting is still pretty much the same. He's always been a better high ball hitter, so really what we're just trying to do is no matter what pitch we throw, just try to keep it down in the zone somewhere.
Carsey comes in with a high and tight fastball to get ahead 2 strikes. Ray, with that type of stance, although he does pull the front foot forward when he swings, would he be more vulnerable to the pitch inside?
Looks like, of course, he has always been a pull hitter, and I think he's trying to use more of the middle of the field. Last night he was showing that, I think, just to try to keep the front side closed and not open up so much. And I think by turning that left foot in, he's trying at least.
Well, Carsey threw hard, Vaughn swung hard, and on 3 pitches, Carsey has his 3rd strikeout in the big leagues.
Heeman's in outside, the pitch inside. And it looked like it was a strike on the inside, whether he swung at it or not. You know, sometimes that happens where you are set up outside and the pitch is inside. How many times do you figure the umpire will give you a call when you have to reach for the ball, even though it's in the strike zone?
Very, very few times. You know, if I'm sitting outside and he throws it inside, even if it is an inside strike, it's something that the catcher doesn't want. But on the flip side of that, if I'm, you know, a couple inches off the plate outside and my pitcher gives me that pitch, now I definitely want that pitch to be called a strike.
Strike 1 on Kevin Reimer. The Brewers are batting in the 4th inning. They only have 1 base hit off of Carsey through the first 3 2/3. That was his changeup, and you can see the result. Reimer way out in front.
You see enough fastballs as he has shown in the first, not his 4th inning. The hitters start to gear for the fastball, and that's the result when he throws a changeup because the arm speed's the same as the fastball and the curveball.
I think, as you mentioned, Ray, it's very important to put in the hitter's minds the ability to have the good fastball like Carsey has done the first 4 innings or 3 innings. And now when he can throw the changeup, that the hitters are definitely looking fastball and thinking fastball and trying to hit fastball.
Guys going to call Heeman out.
And it looks like with the velocity of the fastball, a hitter has to start thinking about gearing up for the fastball and knowing that if they try to wait so much, it's going to throw it past him.
He gave Heeman the baseball, and he wants a new one from the umpire.
I think Dave Duncan is thinking after last night, Van Poppin, the progress as he has had, and now seeing Carsey the way he is pitching tonight.
Well, I think, you know, he's very excited about it, and it's definitely a good boost for our ball club to see that young talent out there, such as Van Poppel last night, Carsey tonight, Mike Moeller pretty much throughout the year. I think it gives them a real good idea of what to expect for the future.
Tough play for Paquette. Gloves it off balance, throws out Reimer. It's been a night for the rookies to shine. Gates a couple of runs on a single. Paquette, a nice play there, but the story has been Carsey, 4 scoreless innings.
The A's take on the Tigers Friday at 4 on Sports Channel.
Go to the other end. Bears can't deliver. They just cannot deliver on the first or the second try. Pass. Stoudemire. Williams knocked away by Al Grigsby. What a defensive play by Grigsby. 3 on 2. Buried. Oh, buried.
What would you do with a Motorola pager?
Never miss a meeting.
Mom's not home. Pager.
All right, you got the pager number right?
We're going out. Cool, this works.
What would you do?
Anything.
Anytime.
Anywhere I want.
A Motorola pager lets you stay in touch with the important people in your life while doing the things important to you. The affordable, portable Motorola pager.
Life goes on.
A's on a Gates 2-run single and an Aldrete 3-run homer lead 5-0 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. The Giants lost tonight at Pittsburgh 10-3. Atlanta won 3-2. The Giant lead in the West is down to 6.5 games. And the pressure, when you're in a division race, there's pressure every day. And tomorrow there'll be new pressure to watch right here on Sports Channel as they play game 2 of this series with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And tomorrow night's game will even be more important because that will be start number 2 for Trevor Wilson, who was very good in this first start in his return Friday at Wrigley Field. Jamie Navarro to Mike Bordick. Throws ball 1. It is Bordick. It will be Brown, then Sierra to bat in the A's fourth as they look to tack on a few more to their 5-0 lead. Bordick to B.J. Surhoff. And nice scoop by John Jaha. We've been talking to Terry Steinbach. We'll continue. B.J. looks pretty good over there. Looks like a pretty poised third baseman after catching all those years.
Yeah, I see BJ quite a bit in the offseason. We hook up at different functions and stuff, and you know, he's a real good athlete. And making the transition from catching to third base, I knew it would be rather easy for him, and he's shown it tonight.
Well, he was a shortstop his early years in college. Then he was switched to catcher in his sophomore year. A good shot of Henry Mercedes there. Was called up when Terry was put on the DL and out for the year. How much communication, Terry, do you have with Heyman and Henry Mercedes? I mean, your role almost switches from catcher to coach the last couple of months of this year.
Well, basically, we still try to have our meetings, you know, before the game, and I still try to participate in them. You know, although I think Scott's feeling a little, you know, good about himself and stuff. And you know,
he's
we're having
a starter now.
Well, he's the #1 starter now. No, but we're having a real good time with it, and you know, he's doing a good job. And I think that's the whole key to being a successful team, is having the ability to communicate.
Brown to right field where the almost flawless Darrell Hamilton plays. 2 away.
Terry, in a case like this, while the A's are hitting and Carsey and Heyman are on the bench, how much of a conversation would you have with the pitcher or Scott Heyman having with Carsey in between innings?
Well, I think right now, basically, they're just going over the positive things that he's doing and telling him to keep doing it. You know, tonight's a good night. Carsey's throwing the ball very well. He's hitting Scott's glove pretty good, and he's following Hemo's calls very well. So they're just really giving each other reassurance of hey, let's keep doing it now. You know, next time through the lineup, we might have to do this to this guy or that to a different particular hitter.
Here's Jamie Navarro to Ruben Sierra. Singled and scored in the first and struck out in the second. Pitch bounces. Well, we spoke to Tony La Russa during On Deck and got his thoughts about the quote that appeared in the Examiner yesterday attributed to Ruben Sierra. As they put the shift on Sierra, as he's batting left-handed here, the shortstop Listach way over. Last night they shifted him heavily when he was a right-handed hitter. I don't know if I've ever seen a second baseman, Ray, play Sierra as deep as Bell plays when we're playing on grass. On artificial turf, you'll see it occasionally, but this is the real stuff.
What's amazing about this shift, still pitching in fastballs outside. I don't know if he's going to be able to pull the fastball if it's down and away. And the shift, he would go against it if he would hit it to the opposite field.
Sierra pops the curveball. Surhoff coming over, and Nielsen, and Surhoff has got it. Good to be a former catcher, huh? Makes that play a little easier. So Navarro has his best inning of work, a 1-2-3 fourth. We'll watch Carsey in the fifth when we come back. 5-0 A's.
When you work one job, grab a quick lunch, a quicker dinner, and move on to job number 2, how you gonna spell relief? That's a big relief you can feel, because Rolaids absorbs 47 times its weight in excess stomach acid to stop heartburn fast. So for millions, there's only one way to spell 100% relief. Rolaids spells 100% relief.
Nipper and Chipper show us what the RCA home theater with SRS sound looks like. Now they show us what it feels like. Looks like. Feels like. Looks like. feels like. Any questions?
Tell me what in the world you doing, L-O-N-E. Yeah, I say, hey, good L-O-K-I-N-G. Where can I buy you an ice cold B-U-D?
Steve Carsey still working on a one-hitter through 4 with the Athletics leading the Brewers 5-0. Now's the time to reserve your 1994 spring training tour and get the best game tickets, air travel on Southwest, choice hotel accommodations, Avis rental cars, souvenirs, and an exclusive barbecue with Tony La Russa. Space is limited, so call today at 510-373-GO-AIDS.
Well, here we have it. A television innovation. A split screen on a pair of cheese heads. It's up to Terry Steinbach to decide which one's real and which one's phony.
I'm going with the guy on the right for being real.
You're
No
right.
doubt
Get
about
that
it.
guy on the left out of the ballpark. He's an imposter. I've told you that before. In honor of Robin Yount, the epitome of Milwaukee and the Brewers, we bring you cheeseheads.
Terry, we were just doing a promo on the 1994 spring training, and I heard coming in on the radio today that I mentioned this.
Robin Yount to right. Sierra has got it. And what did you hear, Ray?
Well, Terry is the player representative for the Oakland
Right.
Athletics. And what I heard on the radio is the owners made a written proposal or a written statement to the Players Association that they would agree not to lock out in spring training, and they would also keep the arbitration in effect through the 1993 offseason.
If that was what came in, then I think, you know, everything would be pretty good and spring training looks like it would go on. I had just talked to the association yesterday, and the question was if we could get it in writing. You know, we had heard the proposition from the owners through the press like everybody else did, but as of yesterday, there hasn't been any written confirmation about what Ray had just talked about. But if they did it, then I would tend to say that things look pretty good.
Here's a base hit on a 1-0 pitch. B.J. Surhoff, who now has both base hits off of Carsey. This one hit much harder than his ground single in the third.
Surhoff taking the pitch right back up the middle, and a very tough pitch for Carsey, or a very tough hit to try to field. He was just lucky the ball didn't hit him on the shin. But
let's just make the point on that play, Ray. Last night you talked about how Van Poppel was in such good fielding position. Is it likewise for Carsey?
He's fine. It's just the ball was smoked up the middle. He had no chance to even put his glove down.
Right.
Like I said, it went between his legs, and fortunately it didn't hit him.
And he lands square. He doesn't fall off to one side of the mound, which will help.
But I did, again, I heard that driving in today on the news, and it was also saying that with this written, that it's in writing, that the players then would not consider striking in September, which there's been a lot of talk about that. Is that more or less the agreement?
Exactly. That was pretty much it. You know, our deal was we would not strike if we'd get written confirmation from them, you know, about the other two issues that you had discussed.
Count is strike one on John Jaha, and he fouls it off. Well, that's probably the best piece of news to come from last week's meetings at Calder, Wisconsin. They also said that they're not going to look to change the system of free agency. They apparently are going to be able to get some form of revenue sharing. The one key element the owners want, Terry, is salary cap. Salary cap. What does Donald Fear say about a salary cap? Is that a naughty thought for you guys?
Well, the actual word salary cap is not, but the thing that goes with the salary cap is some type of proposal, and we haven't got any type of proposal to tie in with salary caps, like any kind of a structure or anything whatsoever. So the word itself is not that bad, but we have to find something else that goes with it. So basically at the association, we're still waiting for the owners to come together with the proposal, give it to the association, give them time to go over it, and actually get the negotiations going.
1-2, Carsey pushes back Jaha. Well, they would come up with a percentage of the revenues and then say that percentage is allocated towards players' salaries. It appears to me that the first step, they have to determine what's revenue and not. They don't know. I mean, do you take TV money? Do you take all the gate receipts, concession? I mean, what is termed revenue. That's probably the first step they have to clear.
Exactly right, and that's been an issue that's been discussed for the last 3 basic agreements. They haven't been able to define exactly, as you're saying, what revenues are. Some clubs don't count concessions, some don't count parking. You know, there's all kinds of issues there, and as you mentioned, the owners have to get together and come up with a real good idea of exactly what they want and what they want us to look over, and at that point we can get an honest answer to it.
But it is good news. Apparently this baseball season will be played in its entirety. We will not have to worry about a lockout for next year. That's all us fans care about.
That's
you guys
right.
work it out. Just keep playing as you do.
Well, it makes it very good for the fans because they can concentrate on spring training. They can concentrate on 1994. People can sell tickets so everybody's happy and get ready to watch baseball in '94. Come back, see these kids play again, and the kid in the booth up here.
And you know, you go back to the strikes of the '80s, both in football and baseball, and that really, I think, divided fans and players and owners completely. I mean, fans don't care. I mean, work it out, but just stay on the field and don't deprive us of the products. Please, just keep playing.
You're exactly right. Nobody wins on a strike. You know, contrary to what people might think, you know, the quote unquote, the players have so-called, you know, beaten the owners the last few times, but the bottom line is when you have a work stoppage or a strike or a lockout, nobody wins. You know, the players aren't happy, the owners aren't happy, obviously the fans aren't happy, so I think a lot has been learned over the past few years, and hopefully we can avoid it this year.
In the meantime, Steve Carsey continues to impress as he misses with the 0-2 pitch. He has allowed just 2 base hits, 3 base runners in total. Surhoff, who's over at first base, has singled twice, and the other base runner, Juan Bell, he walked leading off the 4th. Nobody has advanced past first base on Carsey so far. 1-2 pitch. Greg Paquette backhands, and he throws out Nielsen. 5 innings of shutout Major League debut baseball. I think I'd rated pretty fair so far, huh? Yeah. 5-0. We go to the bottom of the 5th.
Brian Weber with the New Sport Update. Bob Ojita's a winner just for starting the game. 5 months after he was seriously injured in the boating accident that killed 2 teammates, Ojita made his starting return against Toronto, giving up a pair of first-inning home runs and dropping a 4-1 decision. But the night, a small step in reclaiming his baseball life. New Sport, sports news 24 hours a day.
You know what you get when you buy a home? You get to mow your own lawn. And when something breaks, you get to fix it. And here's something you didn't plan on. When you get your mortgage at Great Western Bank, they throw in a checking account with no monthly service charges. So if you're shopping around for a home loan, talk to the people at Great Western. They got lots of ways to save on checking. And you're going to be writing lots of checks.
Well, as they say on the nightly news, a Gates 2-run single, a 3-run homer from Aldretti. But the big story is Steve Carsey, Greg Papa, Terry Steinbach, and Ray Fosse.
No, Terry Steinbach's the story making his debut.
Well, you noticed who I said first.
Yeah.
Well, I'm nervous, I'm telling you.
All right,
yeah, you're nervous.
All right, experts, give us a little rundown. He's thrown 67 pitches, Carsey, 5 innings. He's given up only a couple of hits and a walk. I think it's going great.
Yeah, I've been very impressed by him. You know, he's been moving the ball around, using both sides of the plate, getting his off-speed pitches over, and pretty much has the game in control thus far.
You throw no more than 16 pitches in 1 inning, the first 5 averaging 13 an inning. That means he's throwing strikes, mixing in just enough breaking balls, the curveball and the changeup, to keep the hitters thinking about the fastball. One thing I've noticed the last couple innings, they're starting to swing at the high fastball and not able to get through it, and they're popping the ball up.
Well, we had a couple of his earlier pitches timed at 91, 92 miles an hour. So he throws just about as hard as Todd Van Poppel does. Jamie Navarro starts out Troy Neal with ball 1.
Stoney, I know you're not going to be able to spend the whole game with us, and I don't want you to leave without talking about your contribution to the guide dogs for the blind. And you had a special day on Thursday, the off day. This obviously before your break, but talk a little about your work with them.
It was really a fun situation. We got to go over there, see the facility that they have in San Rafael, I actually had hands-on experience with the dog. They actually blindfolded me. I had one of the guide dogs walk me through the streets of San Rafael, and it was very, very educational for me.
Now, what did the guide dog actually do for you? Cross the street for you and take you around?
The guide dog.
Neil fouling it off.
Actually, what they do is that the guide dog's responsibility is to get you from curb to curb and avoid any hazards, such as cars backing out of driveways, such as people standing in sidewalks. And the dog will actually veer you around that. It'll actually stop in front of cars, you know, keeping you from hitting them.
How did you get started with this particular organization? I know you've been very active with Dave Perrin in the Community Affairs Department and working in the community. But how did you get started with the Guide Dogs for the Blind?
Well, it's a situation where I really like dogs, kind of a different suspect because of the hunting interest that I have. Dave had mentioned what they do with these dogs, and it sparked an interest. Going out and seeing the facility and seeing the marvelous job that they do there training the dogs, you know, really caught my eye, and something I wanted to get involved with.
You're involved also with camps for
the Northern California oncology camp.
Okay.
Off the foot, and Gates goes down. That's Barry Weinberg sprinting out of the A's dugout. The ball went foul, so Gates will have a chance to swing again, but right now we're more concerned about his health. And he'll have a little limp as he gets up. Barry goes back, so Gates will hang in here.
Straight down, and sinker down and in, and there's the head down, but unfortunately he's watching the ball hit him right off the right instep. Yes, it does hurt.
Gates the other way, and coming in, Greg Vaughn has got it. So Gates, who was 2 for 2, and he's clearly hobbling as he makes his way across the infield of the dugout. There's Greg Vaughn, who made the play.
The batter, first baseman Mike Aldrete.
Gates, one of the hitting heroes, and here's the other, Mike Aldrete. After a first inning walk against Navarro in the 3rd inning on a 3-1 pitch. And a pretty good one thrown by Navarro, a fastball darting down. He was able to ride it out to a spot of the ballpark that's tough to clear over the center field wall. About 415 feet for a home run. 3 runs in this 5-0 lead.
From the catcher's standpoint, when you have a 5-run lead, as Steve Carsey does right now, what do you have to talk to him about so that he does not get too lax and start thinking too much that he does have the big lead and maybe change his style of pitching?
Basically, the key word you mentioned right there was change. You don't want him to change. You want him to keep going out there, keep being aggressive. As you mentioned tonight, he's been getting ahead of the hitters, mostly with the fastball, getting strike one, then going to his off-speed pitches. And it's going to be important for him for the rest of the game to continue to do that and give himself a good opportunity to get the hitters out.
What's interesting, I'm sure Dave Duncan and Tony Russo aren't even thinking about pitch count. 67 through 5. They're probably thinking if he continues, they're not going to be pulling him out of this ball game.
No, there's no pitch count on him, and not needed so far. One guy who would like a little change is getting it, Jamie Navarro. After Aldrete's 3-run homer, he has retired 9 consecutive A's, giving the Brewers a shot. But they're still down 5-0 after now 5 pulls.
93 Wimbledon champ Pete Sampras looks to take his 3rd straight RCA championship. But Jim Courier, Boris Becker, and a top-ranked field are ready to gun him down. The world's best push the edge. The chalk, the talk, the walk. Not your typical players, not your typical game. It's tennis to the limit at the RCA Hardcourt Championships.
My friend Bill calls me up, says, let's hang out. So I say, how about the gym? How about the beach? Maybe get a dog, get a tattoo. But Bill has this thing about winning. He only likes to do things he can win. So he says, how about bikes? How about darts? How about arm wrestling? And I say, how about a game where I can actually win something useful, like money? How about Keno? The lottery game with 65,000 winners a day, Bill. 65,000. That's a lot of winners. And he says, great. I'll race you over there. Keno. It's action. It's money. It's money.
How many ways can you spell family fun? Just one. A's baseball at the Oakland Coliseum. It's not just a game, it's the home field advantage. Be there Sunday, August 29th, when the A's host the Detroit Tigers. The first 35,000 fans will be treated to a set of 93 A's playing cards, courtesy of Mother's Cookies. For tickets, call 510-762-PASS.
5 complete here at the Coliseum. Athletics leading 5-0. Steve Carsey, 67 pitches, giving up just 2 hits to the Brewers through 5 innings. The A's next home series begins Friday night, August 27th, when the Detroit Tigers come to the Coliseum for a 3-game weekend series with the A's. Get your tickets at the A's box office or call 510-762-BASS.
That'll be after the A's visit Detroit and Milwaukee on their coming road trip. That'll begin right here on Sports Channel on Friday night. Listash misses the Carsey fastball. We're joined by Terry Steinbach. What's your plan now with the A's going off on the road and you being disabled, and now do you get to make the trip or stay home?
Well, actually, I have to stay back because we got to do a little bit more cast work early part of next week. They want me back down in San Francisco and make sure the cast is fitting right and make sure everything's healing right. So the airplane and the travel wouldn't be conducive to my arm healing up.
Carsey has a 1-ball-and-1-strike count to Listach, who he has twice struck out tonight. Rookie of the year last year, down year after his 290 season last year. Injury is a big part of it.
Notice Listach was swinging at the first pitch instead of taking it, which he has been doing tonight. Figured he's going to come in with a fastball first pitch, but Carsey threw him an excellent sinking fastball. The ball was going down very well.
Listach pulls it foul. Carsey, 2 of his 3 strikeouts have been on Listach. He has allowed only 2 singles. B.J. Surhoff has both of them. And a walk to the on-deck hitter, Juan Bell. He is shutting out the Brewers on 2 hits through his first 5 innings of work, and he has not allowed a Brewer past second base, or past first base, I should say. Nobody's reached second base tonight. Listach fouls it off. Now, Terry, we had Carsey on our pregame show on deck, and we asked him about the jump from Double-A to the major leagues. The Blue Jays, in their years in his chain, gave him a couple of years in A-ball, each type of A-ball, gave him a year in Double-A, but now with the trade of the A's, he went right from Double-A to Triple-A. Listach in the air to center. Dave Henderson's out there, and with his style, he's got it. So the obvious question prior to a start, are you ready to pitch in the major leagues? Same thing for Van Poppel, although Van Poppel did have part of a year at AAA. Now, you did not have any AAA ball. You went right from AA Midland all the way up to the major leagues. Now, what does that do? How does that change a player?
Well, you know, I think the jump really is more made for the person who's mentally sound, who has a decent idea, one, about his own ability. I can't, you know, I didn't play the AAA as you mentioned, but I can't believe there's that big a difference from AA to AAA and from AAA to the big leagues. More often than not, it's the person getting mentally ready, knowing that he has a decent fastball to pitch in the big leagues, knowing that a hitter has a decent swing to hit the ball in the big leagues, and trusting that swing, or in this case, trusting his pitching ability. Too many times a pitcher will come up and he'll do good in AA. He'll say, I got to change to get to AAA. And then when he gets from AAA to the big leagues, he'll say, I got to make another change because, you know, it's another level. And in reality, you don't have to do that. You just have to trust the ability that you have, go and use it, and make maybe minor alterations to your particular style.
Carsey's 2-1 to Juan Bell is pulled foul. I said AA Midland. I meant to say AA Huntsville when you made the jump. So what you're saying is it depends on the individual. I mean, Dwight Gooden didn't have any AA or AAA, and he's turned out pretty good.
Exactly right. You know, another guy on Milwaukee's team is Robin Yount. You know, came straight out of high school, I believe, to the big leagues. And it's really the confidence factor, knowing that these guys out here, even though they might be a 3, 5, 7, 9, 15-year major league person, they still put on their uniform the same way you do. They still throw the ball the same way you do, and you know, they're still individuals.
Well, like Mr. Carsey yourself, bypassing AAA right to the big leagues in an auspicious debut with a homer in your first at-bat. The 3-time All-Star Terry Steinbach joining us and watching Steve Carsey.
Oh, that was an impressive 3-2 pitch. Here's the fastball hit. He got a 5-run lead. Hit the ball. Don't take a chance of walking. Actually, I don't think he threw for the corner, just the middle of the plate. Scott set up a little outside, but pitch right in the middle, little tail towards the outside corner.
That's really a good sign of a pitcher right there, taking the 3-2 pitch, knowing that the hitter's looking fastball. He takes the fastball, throws the two-seamer, gets a little bit of movement, as Ray mentioned, and hits the routine grounder to second base.
Well, one thing that's evident, and rightly or wrongly, they're going to be compared throughout their careers, Carsey and Van Poppel, as the A's move into a whole new era. And these are the two guys that'll lead them. But this guy's not nervous at all. I mean, Todd was nervous his first 3 or 4 starts. He's had poise and cool all night. Another 1, 2, 3. Terry, we can't thank you enough. Heal up quickly, and we'll see you in '94.
Thanks a lot. I enjoyed myself.
Anytime you want to come back, we will share the microphone with Terry Steinbach.
Nipper and Chipper show us what the RCA home theater with SRS sound looks like. Now they show us what it feels like. Looks like. Feels like. Looks like. Feels like. Any questions?
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You know he's not perfect, but on certain days in his life, he has been. The night he poured in 63 points. The time he crushed 3 home runs in the World Series. The day he found Dwight Clark in the end zone. And you wish at some point, at some moment in your life, you could be that perfect too. And that's why you cheer for him. That's why you believe in heroes.
When you work one job, grab a quick lunch, a quicker dinner, and move on to job number 2, how you gonna spell relief? That's a big relief you can feel, because Rolaids absorbs 47 times its weight in excess stomach acid to stop heartburn fast. So for millions, there's only one way to spell 100% relief. Rolaids spells 100% relief.
Steve Carsey continues to roll. He's holding on to the 2-hitter through 5 1/2. Sunday, August the 29th, the A's and the Tigers play their final game of the season, and the first 35,000 fans will each receive a set of 20 full-color player cards of their favorite A's compliments of Mother's Cookies. Game time is 1:05. For tickets, visit the A's box office or call 510-762-BASS.
Juan Bale, who the Brewers signed when they had Listash out, now slides from second to short as something may be wrong with Listash. And Bill Spires, their former shortstop before the emergence of Listash last year, who's being asked to learn second base this year, comes into the ballgame. We'll find out what's wrong with Pat Listash and pass it along to you. Jamie Navarro to Dave Henderson of the Oakland A's, 6th. Henderson 0 for 2. With a strikeout looking in the first and a fly ball to Robin Yount in the 3rd. Jamie Navarro, after giving up a 3-run homer to Mike Aldrete in the 3rd, and with that homer fell behind 5-0, has proceeded to retire the next 9 Oakland A's in a row. The problem is Steve Carsey has allowed nothing. He has not allowed a runner past first base. 2-1 is wrapped to B.J. Surho. Dave Henderson retreats. He's 0 for 3 in the ball game. That'll bring on Craig Kent. Mark McGuire talking to Barry Weinberg behind the plate. Mark was standing alongside Tony La Russa before the ball game as they had batting practice in infield. They were talking the whole while. I thought it was very interesting, Ray. And we had Mark in here over the weekend joining us. And I forgot to ask him, but we got to ask him quickly about this. He talked about, in the middle of a quote in the paper recently, saying, I would like to be a coach, and then he went on further. And I had not realized that. Nice change up there by Navarro. He wants to be a coach when he's done playing, apparently, Mark McGuire.
He did some coaching last night, Scott Lighting.
Yes.
As he met him coming back in off the field, and I thought that was very impressive because here's a guy who's a veteran, but yet he's willing. He noticed something that Scott Lighty was doing and was willing to talk to him. And as a young player, you appreciate that because sometimes a young player, it's a little difficult for him to go up to a veteran and say, well, what do you think? But yet when that veteran takes the initiative, that's special.
So we're finding out about these injured A's now. McGuire wants to go into coaching, and Steinbach wants Ray's job. He was pretty good, wasn't he? He says, I have no idea what I want to do when I'm done playing. But after his debut tonight, he could go into television or radio. You catchers you just know the game, huh?
You know, Greg, I found out very quickly because in 1974 when I started it, I said this would be a great thing to do.
Were you good at it right away?
Well, I'm not. I can't say that, but I do know that when you just show up and you say, gee, this is fun, but then you find out very quickly there's a lot of work involved.
Sure.
Because I would see broadcasters come to the ballpark and I say, wow, that's great. Look, they got their golf clubs. They're just showing up an hour before the game. But once you get in the business, it's much different than that.
Scott Heyman rides one. And let's see if it's run down by Darrell Hamilton as the ball hangs up. Maybe off the end of the bat a bit. Didn't carry well for Hemo. It's a 1-2-3 inning again. Navarro has retired 12 consecutive A's. It is 5-0 still. Carsey leads Navarro as we head to the 7th.